It was a beautiful summer day in the small town of Willow Creek. The sun was shining and the birds were singing, and everyone seemed to be in a good mood. But for Emily, the day was bittersweet. She had just received some difficult news from her doctor, and she was feeling overwhelmed and scared. As she walked through the town square, Emily spotted an old-fashioned telephone booth on the corner. It was a relic from a bygone era, but something about it caught her eye. Without thinking, Emily walked over to the booth and picked up the receiver. To her surprise, she heard a dial tone. She hesitated for a moment, but then she decided to take a chance. She dialed a random number, not expecting anyone to answer. But to her surprise, someone did.
"Hello,"
a soft voice said on the other end. Emily was taken aback. She had no idea who she had called or what to say. But something about the stranger's voice was calming and reassuring, and she found herself opening up. She told the stranger about her diagnosis, and about her fears and anxieties. She talked about her family and her friends, and about all the things she was afraid of losing. The stranger listened patiently, offering words of comfort and encouragement. She told Emily that she was strong and capable, and that she had the support of a whole community behind her. As they talked, Emily felt a weight lifting off her shoulders. She realized that she wasn't alone, and that there were people out there who cared about her and wanted to help. They talked for what felt like hours, until the sun began to set and the shadows grew long. As they said goodbye, Emily felt a sense of peace that she hadn't felt in a long time. Over the next few weeks, Emily found herself returning to the telephone booth again and again. Each time, she dialed a different number, and each time she was met with a kind and understanding voice on the other end. She talked to all kinds of people, from all walks of life. Some were young, some were old, some were local, and some were from far away. But all of them had one thing in common: they were kind and compassionate, and they had a way of making Emily feel like everything was going to be okay. As the summer turned to fall and the leaves began to change, Emily's health began to improve. Her treatments were working, and she was starting to feel more like herself again. But she didn't forget the kindness of the strangers on the other end of the telephone. They had helped her through one of the most difficult times in her life, and she knew that she would never forget them. One day, as she was walking through the town square, Emily saw a little girl staring up at the telephone booth. She walked over to the girl and asked her if she wanted to make a call. The girl looked up at Emily, then back at the telephone. She hesitated for a moment, then reached for the receiver. Emily smiled, knowing that she was passing on a tradition that had brought her so much comfort and hope. As she walked away, Emily felt a sense of gratitude for all the kindness and compassion that had been shown to her. And she knew that, no matter what the future held, she would always have the memories of those soft, beautiful telephone calls to carry her through. It had been a year since Emily's first call from the old telephone booth in Willow Creek. She had long since finished her treatments and was finally starting to feel like herself again. But even though she was healthy and happy, she still found herself drawn to the booth. She had made dozens of calls over the past year, talking to people from all over the world. Some were lonely, some were going through tough times, and some just wanted to chat with a friendly stranger. Emily loved the sense of connection she got from the calls. Even though she never met the people on the other end, she felt like she had made genuine friendships with them. They had shared their joys and sorrows, their triumphs and setbacks, and in doing so, they had created a bond that transcended time and space. One day, as she was walking through the town square, Emily saw a group of children gathered around the telephone booth. They were all laughing and shouting, trying to decide who would make the next call. Emily smiled, remembering the little girl she had helped a year ago. She walked over to the group and asked if they wanted to make a call. At first, the kids were hesitant. They didn't know what to say or who to call. But Emily encouraged them, telling them that it was a chance to talk to someone new and learn something new. Eventually, one of the kids picked up the receiver and dialed a number at random. To their surprise, someone answered.
Hello?
The voice said. The kids all gasped, amazed that they had actually reached someone.
Hi,
The child said, giggling.
we're calling from the old telephone booth in Willow Creek. What's your name?
The person on the other end laughed, introducing herself as a woman from England. She asked the kids where they were from, and they eagerly told her about their town and their lives. For the next half hour, the kids chatted with the woman, asking her about life in England and telling her about their own adventures. By the time they hung up, they were all grinning from ear to ear. As the kids ran off to play, Emily couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. She had passed on the tradition of the telephone booth, and she had seen firsthand how much joy it could bring. Over the years, the old telephone booth became a beloved landmark in Willow Creek. People from all over the world would make pilgrimages to the booth, just to make a call and feel the connection that it offered. But for Emily, the booth held a special place in her heart. It had been her lifeline during some of her darkest days, and it had given her a sense of hope and comfort that she would never forget. One day, as she was walking through the town square, Emily saw a group of elderly men gathered around the booth. They were all laughing and reminiscing, and Emily couldn't help but smile at the sight. As she approached the booth, one of the men turned to her and said,
You know, this old phone booth has brought a lot of joy to this town over the years.
Emily nodded, feeling a lump in her throat.
I know,
She said.
it's a special place.
The man smiled at her, then reached into his pocket and pulled out a small book.
Here,
He said, handing her the book.
it's a record of all the calls made from this booth over the past 20 years. Take a look.
Emily opened the book, and her heart swelled at the sight. There were pages and pages of names, phone numbers, and notes from people who had called the booth. Some were heartfelt and poignant, while others were silly and light-hearted. But all of them spoke to the power of connection and the human need for comfort and understanding. As Emily flipped through the pages, she couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. It was like she was holding a piece of history in her hands, one that had touched the lives of countless people over the years. She looked up at the man and smiled, feeling grateful for the gift he had given her.
Thank you,
She said.
this means a lot to me.
The man nodded, then turned and walked away, leaving Emily alone with the book and her thoughts. As she sat in the booth, surrounded by the memories of all those who had come before her, Emily felt a sense of peace wash over her. She realized that the telephone booth was more than just a place to make calls, it was a symbol of hope and connection, a reminder that no matter how alone we may feel, there is always someone out there who cares. Over the years, the old telephone booth would continue to bring people together, even as the world around it changed. It weathered storms and stood strong in the face of adversity, a testament to the enduring power of human connection. And for Emily, it would always hold a special place in her heart, a reminder of the strength and resilience of the human spirit, and the infinite possibilities that exist when we reach out and connect with one another. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more amazing videos and to learn the best English.